Today's video is brought to you by Rallymates. Head over to rallymates.com to pick out your own tiny djembe drum. And next time you're out going to a rally or a game or just jamming with your friends, you can bring along this little guy. It's got a nice shoulder strap. Sounds great. Coming this fall, you'll be able to customize it to one of your favorite sports teams. Choose from a selection, pick your favorite at rallymates.com. Hi everybody, welcome to Aimee Nolte Music. In 1994, when I was 17, I went to see The Lion King, I think just downtown in my local theater with my boyfriend. I remember thinking it was really cool that Elton John had composed the songs for The Lion King. I also remember The Circle of Life being played on the radio quite a bit. In fact, I think it reached number 18 on the US pop charts. Tim Rice, who wrote the lyric, said that he showed the lyric to Elton John and Elton had finished composing the music within about an hour and a half. That's so impressive. It was nominated for Song of the Year at the Academy Awards that year, but it lost out to the other Elton John Lion King classic, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Not bad. And it was also nominated for a Grammy. Good song, catchy song, powerful song. In 1999, I was working as a musician and married when Disney's movie Tarzan came out. I wasn't quite as interested in Disney movies at that point, I guess, so I didn't go see it. But I remember driving in the car one day with John, my husband, when a new Phil Collins song came on that I hadn't heard before. It was going along at a nice, up-tempo ballad speed, and I just thought, this is, sounds like a solid Phil Collins ballad. Until something happened. The song's going along, the first verse is ending, and the chorus is coming up, and my jaw dropped, and I turned to John and I said, Phil Collins ripped off Elton John. At this point, I didn't even know that the song had come from a Disney movie. And John said, what are you talking about? And I said, here, listen. And when the second verse happened and the chorus was coming up, this is what I did. For the sun rolling high, the sapphire sky keeps getting small on this endless round in the circle of life. And then John said, oh yeah, I see what you mean. I didn't think a ton more about it that day, I don't think. But over the years, every time I hear that song from Tarzan, it just bothers me a tiny bit. Should it bother me? Why is this the case? Why does it sound like Phil Collins ripped off Elton John? Did he rip off Elton John? Well, let's talk about what's going on here. Elton John sang Circle of Life in the key of B flat. Phil Collins sang You'll Be in My Heart in the key of E flat mainly. We'll talk about that right now. So, to make it easy, I'm going to put both the songs in the key that the Phil Collins song is in. If we look at Elton John singing The Circle of Life in the key of E flat, it sounds like this. Da 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 da. Phil Collins starts do 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 do. And the melody's totally different at this part. And I didn't think at this point I didn't think that Phil Collins was ripping off Elton John because the melody's quite a bit different. The chords are the same, but, melody's pretty different. Let's line them both up and see how the melodies compare. Da 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 da. Even before I knew that it was a Disney song, I said Phil Collins ripped off Elton John. After I found out that it was a Disney song, after I found out that it had been written just, 4 or 5 years after The Lion King was written and was a huge success and nominated for an Academy Award and a Grammy, then it bothered me a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how Phil Collins came up with these chord changes. But I kind of have to think that he heard The Circle of Life on the radio just as much as I did in 1994 or 1995. And maybe it was in his brain somewhere, in his subconscious. And I can't help but think that it may have occurred to him that he was using the exact same chord changes as Elton John, in the exact kind of way as Elton John too, because if you can feel what's happening in these parts of the songs, it's really moving you towards something. It's the part that's totally tugging on your heartstrings, and it's, somebody's gonna triumph. It's just like this part that's meant to like build up and build up and build up and bam, blow your mind. Here we are in the chorus and everything feels amazing. So I kind of think that he not only used the chords from Elton John, but he used the same exact kind of ploy to tug at our heartstrings, which kind of gets to me a little bit more than just ripping off chords, because we've seen many instances where people sue because they think their song has been ripped off, but they don't end up victorious in the courts because chords cannot be copyrighted. It's okay to just take somebody's chords. It happens all the time. The fact that the melody lines up as much as it does, slightly concerning to me, and I wonder if Elton John ever noticed. But kudos to him for not coming after Phil Collins, really. I don't know how it would have held up in court. Probably would not have held up. The rest of the song is completely different. It's just this one little section that happens to line up and made me think, what the heck, in that moment. I think it's okay. I think subconsciously, Phil Collins might have been influenced by what Elton John did in his very famous Disney song, but I don't think he intentionally ripped Elton John off. I just think it happened. I've always noticed it, and I wanted to tell somebody about it. And if you ever get hired to write an original song for some kind of a movie and you want to have people feeling a certain way, like they're about to conquer and everything's going to be amazing, you could use these chords because they definitely do that for you. Just being in your major key, going to your relative minor key, coming around to your minor 2 chord instead of going to the really predictable 5 chord, entering through the back door, that flat 7 major chord coming in. You could choose them. You could do it, but I think there are other ways. I think that there are more ways. We've seen it, in whatever, Aladdin, Frozen, Little Mermaid. You don't have to pick this one. It was just kind of unfortunate that Phil Collins settled on the exact same device that Elton John settled on. And Elton John came up with it in an hour and a half. I have no idea how long it took Phil Collins to write his song. But this device worked really nicely, actually, probably in both cases. I don't think I've ever seen Tarzan yet, but it probably made you feel a certain way, I'm imagining. So did Phil Collins rip off Elton John? A little bit subconsciously, chord-wise, slightly melodically, I think he did. But I don't think it was a huge crime. I think it's all right. And I really think it's cool that Elton John probably never brought it up. In my research, I can't find anybody comparing these two songs. So I don't think he really did. But it's always struck me as kind of a coincidence, I guess. And I just wanted to tell you about it. If this kind of thing, little intricacies about music, interest you, or if you want to learn to play the piano by ear or get better at your jazz musicianship, my channel is the one for you to follow. Press the subscribe button, like the video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.